Hi Libra, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your February 2023 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and also pull the four agreements, wisdom and the oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. So let's see what comes up. Alright, we have Pluto, and Pluto's been in your fourth house for a really long time. It's actually going to move out of there for a bit a little later this year. But yeah, it could definitely be some focus around that. We have ninth house. Ninth house energy for you guys is Gemini, and recently we had Mars retrograde end there. It's still in the post-retrograde phase right now, but yeah, could see some movement there. So maybe if there were some blockages around your ninth house, you're finally starting to see some movement there. And ninth house in general could point to philosophy, higher learning, foreign destinations. And we have Taurus. So Taurus energy for you guys is actually your eighth house, which could point to death, rebirth, intimacy, taxes. We've had Uranus there for quite some time, and the North Node as well. So we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. All right, the main situation position, we have the Seven of Cups, which is Scorpio energy. And challenging that, we have the Nine of Cups, which is Pisces energy. So I can see this playing out a couple different ways. It could just be saying that you might find yourself a little bit scattered, and that could be what keeps you from reaching your ultimate goal. So maybe you're trying to take on too many things, right? With the thought that, okay, this could be the key to my success. But it could just be saying that the challenge there is to actually sit back and really think about what would make you happy, right? So these things seem to be unfulfilling, excuse me, and not leading to the growth that you were hoping for. I feel like this is saying that with a little, just take a step back and really see, okay, what would make me happy. Now, in a more mundane sense, this can even be as simple as pointing to maybe you've accumulated a lot of things in your home environment, right? Given that we see Pluto there. And you might be looking back on them now, like, why did I even buy these things, right? So you could just be looking through some of your stuff, trying to get your home environment more organized. But yeah, let's see what else comes to mind with this combination. That's primarily it, though. I feel like it's just pointing to, maybe you've accumulated some things that haven't led you to the fulfillment you thought they would, right? And maybe you're trying to pare those things down now. Or like I said, it could just be as simple as you just need to clean your environment a little bit, whether it be emotional, mental, or your physical environment, right? All right. In the foundation position, we have justice. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, you probably do have that awareness coming up for you, right? I think you're starting to realize those things at whatever level it's coming through at, because we do see the sword pointed right toward the cards up there. So I feel like this is saying that this could be that month, right, where you do find a way to get that balance. So like, okay, yeah, maybe I was too focused on too many different things. Let me get everything aligned, right? I will say I do have some Libra friends who are kind of like that, where if something brand new comes out, immediately they want to go out and buy it, right? And then like a month or two later, they're disappointed with it or just don't even bother with it anymore. So it could just be one of those things. But that's what I see there. In the past position, we have the Seven of Wands. So yeah, it could just be one of those things too, where you might even realize that the more you accumulate, right, the more it seems like you have to fight for those things. So let's say you got a raise at work, now all of a sudden you start buying more expensive things, right? Because like, oh, I got a raise. So now you never really truly feel like you have more money, right? Because immediately once you get that money, you start spending it on other things. So it could just be one of those types of dynamics there. All right. In the present position, we have the Three of Wands. So yeah, again, like I said, I feel like this is an indicator that awareness is starting to come up for you, where you're starting to realize that pattern, right? When you're like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back, pare things down a little bit, right? Maybe you got rid of some things, maybe you looked at some things that you don't no longer need, and you might have even decided to donate those things to charity, right? Things along those lines. And now you're really trying to take a beat and figure out, all right, what do I want to come next, right? Maybe you're also stepping out of the energy of constantly going out and seeking something to now waiting for things to come your way. All right, in your future position, we have the Four of Cups. So the phrase that came to mind when I saw this is old habits die hard, right? Because the way I see this, moving from the 3 to the 4 there, but we see the disappointed energy, is that you might take that approach like, okay, no, maybe this was even a New Year's resolution you made, right? Like, okay, this year I'm not going to go chasing after the next shiny thing. I'm just going to wait, see what comes my way. And then when things start to come your way, you're starting to get a little fidgety, right? Like, okay, I'm not necessarily, these aren't the things I was hoping for, and you might feel that urge to go back out and seek things again. So it could just be a bit of a battle that you're trying to go through right now. Try to strike that balance between the two, right? Knowing when to go after something and knowing when to let something come your way. All right. In the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Ace of Cups. So yeah, it definitely does look like there is a desire for something new, right? So even if it's not about accumulating a lot of things, like I said, maybe it's the realization that maybe what you did accumulate in the past wasn't necessarily fulfilling you, or at least it doesn't anymore, right? And now trying to figure out, okay, well, now that I come to that realization, what would fulfill me, right? And maybe that's what you're seeking a little bit of guidance on right now. All right, in the position of the environment, we have judgment. So this is usually an indicator of things coming back around from the past. And for some of you, that could be the key, right? You could just come to the realization that, okay, maybe there was something in my past that I really did like, but for whatever reason, you might have gotten detached from that, right? And now you're trying to reconnect to it. So it could just be one of those things where you realize, like, okay, yeah, I got off my path for a while, right? I started chasing after this, that, and the other thing. But really, what I wanted all along was from my past, and I'm back into that mode to build on that. And for those of you, like I said, if you just found yourselves in a phase where you're constantly accumulating things, right, this could just be pointing to, if we look at the way the horn is blown toward the feminine energy, to try to embrace the more feminine side of your energy for a bit and just let things come to you a little bit more. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, for a lot of you, like I said, I feel like you do want to walk away, right? I mean, as a matter of fact, this eight is the bridge between the two cards we see there. The Seven of Cups that we talked about, and then to see the nine challenging that, the eight is right between the two. So I feel like this is another indicator, like I said, I feel like this is in your awareness that you do know that there is some kind of blockage there that's keeping you from the Nine of Cups right now. But like I said, the old habits die hard term came to my mind. So it could just be one of those things where you're still in that adjustment period where it's great to have an awareness of something, but to immediately be able to take action on that could be a little more tricky, right? So it could just be one of those things. Like we talked about, Mars retrograde just wrapped up in your ninth house. We basically are just wrapping up the Mercury retrograde as well at the time of recording this, and it's going to be in post shadow for a little bit in February. So it could just be those energies riding out, and by like mid-February, you might feel a little bit better to. Speaking of Mercury retrograde, like screwing up my words here. But by mid-month, you should feel like you're better able to tackle the plans, put it that way. And in the outcome position, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, clarity there. So I feel like eventually the clarity will come through for you. And that makes me think of the sword that we were talking about with the Justice card, where we see it kind of pointed right up toward the cards we see in the main situation. So yeah, eventually it'll click for you. Maybe even as early as the Aquarius new moon that we're about to have. But yeah, that's what I see with that. And bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups. So this is Cancer energy here. And usually I see this as reconnecting with old friends, right? Or possibly even siblings, family members from your distant past. And for you guys, Cancer energy represents your 10th house too. So maybe you'll have some successes around your career. We also see the Queen of Cups, which is more Cancer energy there. So maybe as you do figure out, like we said, leaving behind what you don't want and figuring out what you do want, right? That could be the key to your success. You might see that bring success in other areas of your life as well. All right, so moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions, and it says Learn to Ask Questions. Okay, it says it is always better to ask questions than to make assumptions. Have the courage to ask questions until you are as clear as you can be. Once you hear the answer to a question, you won't have to make assumptions because you will know the truth. It's an interesting message there. I don't really see, really just seems like more of an internal journey for you guys this month. So I don't necessarily see indicators in the spread that there would be potential for miscommunications. But in general, it's a good message to go with in general anyway. So whatever resonated with you. And then next we have from the Wisdom Oracle, To Be Fair. We even see the scales there, like we see in the Justice card, and that's a symbol for Libra too. But there's the artwork. The number is 38. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, essential meaning says balance, justice, a need to consider options, mutual benefit, the law of cause and effect. The Oracle's message: life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from being from stasis to doing from discovering, to loving to letting go to being again. Love is a pendulum swinging between all of these states. You will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause, there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed now. So interesting message there, because as I was reading that, they made me think of the Four of Cups phase, right, where I was talking about the old habits die hard, to where you might go through that little bit of a cycle where you feel like things are coming your way that you don't necessarily want, but getting fidgety and wanting to go after it, right? And seeing that with that Seven of Cups, that could have been how you've operated in the past, right? Like, oh, nope, I don't like this, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, right? And then that makes you lose sight of what you wanted overall. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right, the relationship message says, can you find a way to achieve fairness right now? This is a time for listening as well as speaking, for understanding as well as asking to be understood. There is much to be learned, and you will learn it if you remain open and objective, weighing options and considering all sides. Your heart wants to connect to others, so allow for a balanced exchange of ideas and action. The best kind of relationship is one in which there is mutual benefit and each party feels heard, valued, and respected. Be fair to all. So, I mean, pretty positive message there as well, too. Like I said, this really seems like more of a personal journey for you guys this month. If you are seeking more guidance on love, and if that didn't do it for you necessarily, you can check out the mid-month readings I already posted. February mid-month readings out in a couple weeks. All right, and the prosperity message says, now is a time for even exchanges. Justice will prevail, and you will be treated accordingly. In all your affairs, you will be able to negotiate fair settlements. Mutual gain is the gift to you and your partners and colleagues. This is also a good time to square your finances and take stock of how you're compensated for your work. This card signifies balance, justice, and negotiations, so remember that all things must be fairly recompensed. Keep this as your truth, and so it will be. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there as well. Hopefully that resonated. And lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. So this is your Mudra here. It's the Matangi Mudra, and the keyword for it is authenticity. Let's see if we get everything in the frame there. Okay, so under benefits, it says facilitates diaphragmatic breathing, benefits the abdomen and abdominal organs of digestion, assimilation, and elimination, activates the power of spirit, improves discernment and self-honesty, improves the voice and ability to communicate inner feelings. So that sounds like a Mudra thing would be beneficial for you guys. We'll put the name of the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.